Especially if you watch, some of the rock and roll channels that have, acid rock bands on there. A guy gets up, and they put these masks on, and they're doing all that. A lot of those guys can do that for one day, and then they have, swollen vocal cords. I've seen a damaged vocal fold that had a blood blister on it like that big.
Ooh.
And it's literally for 30 days you have to shut your mouth. You can't talk at all. And that's somebody that just didn't know how to use the instrument. So when I'm doing that, I'm scraping my vocal cords together like this. This is where being a technician and a vocalist and all these things come in to play, being a speech teacher, etc. I know what's going on, so I know when to stop, or how to modulate it. But don't you guys try this unless you get very, very well trained. Do what your voice does, because again, that's very, very workable and castable. Now, when I do the voice of Xemnas, can you hear what I'm doing now? What is different? She left us, she left us, she left us. Freeze, slime ball, okay. That's from a movie, I never said that. Yes?
You're rattling softer. Like, you're not pushing so hard on that.
Okay, he said, I'm rattling softer and not pushing harder.
Yeah.
Now, those aren't the technical terms you used, but if you were going to do your version of my voice,
Right.
write those things down, because that's what struck in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you would use that as your description of the character. It's actually whispery. Xemnas actually whispers. I am the leader of Organization 13. I don't have to raise my voice. Actually, so is Kurama. Listen carefully. Do you hear the whisper? And it's not deeper either. That's right in the middle of my range. It's the way I placed it. But that was very good, because you caught the idea of being whispery, and the rattling of that. That's called the throaty quality. What else are you hearing? Xemnas. As I'm speaking to you, what else is happening? Am I speaking quickly? No.
No, slowing it down.
Yeah, very much slowing it down. That was for technical purposes. Those of you who have done my panels before understand what happened. I got in for the session and they said, okay, we need to match the Japanese timing. That's not uncommon in a video game. We do that a lot. You have to, all right? So they'll have a cue that you have to do a fight and then do a reaction, and it needs to fill up this much time on the wave file, etc. And you can listen to it. Normally, I'm not bragging about it, it's just true. I happen to be able to be pretty good at matching the timing and all that. I get that work done pretty quickly. Well, they played the Japanese, and they had done the translation, written the lines in English, and they were this long. And the Japanese timing was this long. And they would not even let me say cannot instead of can't. Did not instead of didn't. So we had to somehow fill all that time up, and that's why Xemnas sounds the way he does, because I did not audition that way. When I came in with the voice, I spoke like this, and whatever the lines were in the audition, and they chose me. And I got there, they said, all right, so we have to match the timing. And I'm thinking it's like any other video game. Yeah, it'll be a little short, a little long, no problem. Every line was like that, which is why you'll hear me say, Ansem the wise, you look pathetic. You hear those sounds? On a wave file, they actually read, okay? So when they started matching the wave files together, the timing was right, but I had to make the longest K sounds and M sounds and Z sounds and L, like that, to fill those things up, and that's why I sound the way I do on the game. That is not the way I auditioned.
One of us.